I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry.
It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Yeah, that was a great job on the intro, Chillie. The order on my video clips got changed somehow. So I played the outro instead of the intro. All right, so we got that caught up. Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this Thursday, the 29th of December, 2022. Coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. It's going to be a little bit warmer here today. Going to get up to like 60. And we're going to have some days now in the 60s, so it's a lot better. Not a whole lot in the way of news again today. We are going to talk about Southwest Airline woes that have a tendency to crush part of the cruise recovery. Carnival Taps Emeril for another job. Norwegian to reduce service and stateroom attendant salaries. And a whole lot more live here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today, folks, is National Pepper Pot Day. I have no idea what that is. So if you know what a pepper pot is, please let me know so I know how to celebrate today. I'm not even sure I've ever heard of pepper pot. I mean, I like peppers. Anyway, that one's beyond my realm of experience. So if somebody's got a nice answer for that one, stick it in the chat and I'll get to it when I get over there. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts. All the big guys, Pandora, Stitcher, Podchaser, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. If you ever want to hop over to the video feed, just check in the description. There'll be a little link in there that says click here to access video feed. And you can jump over to see any pictures or clips that we might be showing on that day's show. A couple of announcements this morning, folks. There will be a Cruise Amigos show at 1 o'clock my time. That's 12 noon Central Standard Time. That's Minnesota time. And it's, of course, 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, which that's Amigo Martin time. Hopefully everybody will be able to get in at some point for the show today. We just found out just literally a few minutes ago that John has to go to his dentist he's getting a new bridge and something has to be done on that. So he's going to be a little bit late, possibly. Might catch him from the car. Who knows? And then who knows with Martin? We never know what's going on with Martin over there anymore. So hopefully we'll eventually get all three of the Migos together for our New Year's show. And just to remind everybody, New Year's Eve, we're going to start the festivities at 8 a.m., maybe even a little before that, as we're going to celebrate New Year's in Sydney, Australia first. And then I'm hoping through the day we'll have maybe several other folks from different parts of the world to hop in and we can celebrate New Year's with them as well. So that'll be New Year's Eve, starting about 8 o'clock or 7:30 in the morning of New Year's Eve day. There is, let's see, do I even have that? I'm not sure if I do, but there is I may not have that. Anyway, I got some information in from Scoot Around. They're running a New Year's special. I believe it's 10% off on any of the accessibility equipment, whether it's a scooter or a wheel power chair or a walker or a rollator or anything in the mobility challenged area. Any of the supplies, they're all on sale right now for the new year. So give Scoot Around a call. In the description for this show, there's always the phone number for Scoot Around, and you can ask for anything you're interested in. They can help you out. I've said it many times, and I'll continue saying it. They are the reason that I do what I can do today. No doubt about it. So they're good people to work with as well. But yeah, I could not do anything in the way of cruising without Scoot Around. So, all right, I'll be back with today's news after a real quick break from one of our network sponsors. All right, the top story today, we've heard all these horror stories for the last few days about Southwest Airlines and all the crap that they've caused. Well, that trickles down to the cruise ship folks as well. Thousands of cruise ship passengers have not been able to fly to their cruise embarkation port or arrive too late in the wake of the issues that Southwest Airlines has caused in the United States this past week. Cruise passengers booked with Southwest Airlines this week will have to wait a few more days for relief as the airline continues to struggle with what U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg calls a total system breakdown. Southwest Airlines has canceled 15,700 flights since the winter weather began disrupting air travel on December 22nd across the U.S. The issues with one of the largest airlines in the country mean that hundreds of cruise passengers have missed their intended departure on board a cruise ship. Others have had to drive hundreds or thousands of miles by car and were lucky enough that the cruise ship delayed departure. Others have struggled to find their way home after disembarking from a ship. Southwest Airlines CEO Bob Jordan released a video yesterday reassuring customers that they're doing everything possible to get back on track. Bull, you know what, folks? If they're doing everything to get back on track, why are they still canceling 50% of their flights today? Angry cruise passengers have been venting on social media. Unfortunately, they're not just blaming the airlines. Many cruisers have been waiting so long to take a cruise vacation following the global pandemic and the cruise industry shutdown. Only recently have cruise lines really been back fully sailing, and it's the first holiday season where entire fleets are back available. Those are just some of the hundreds of reports that can be found online. The impact of the issues at Southwest goes, of course, much further. Hundreds of thousands of people are affected. Airports are overcrowded. All the while, customer support at Southwest is lacking. Cruise lines have been filling the void wherever possible. Carnival Celebration's departure was delayed until 5 p.m. to give some guests a chance to reach the ship. However, a reported 500 guests did not make it to the vessel in time, even at that rate. Many cruises that sailed in the last couple of days and those sailing in the days leading to the new year have been and will be affected to some degree. Again, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has called the situation unacceptable, while the Department of Transportation has sent out a tweet saying U.S. DOT is concerned by Southwest's unacceptable rate of cancellations and delays in report of lack of prompt customer service. The department will examine whether cancellations were controllable and if Southwest is complying with its customer service plan. Unfortunately, those that were booked on Southwest Airline flights in the coming days are going to find no comfort in those words. The airline has said it will need at least several more days to come to grips with the flight cancellations and arrange crew so that flights can fly on time. In the meantime, Southwest will fly only 30% of their scheduled departures. That tells me that it's going to snowball even further. For those scheduled to sail in the coming days, it means finding an alternative way of making their way to various home ports around the United States. At one of the busiest times of the year for cruises, Southwest Airlines could not have chosen a worse time for this breakdown. Then you come up to the question of, is there any recovery for the cruise passengers? And this, I'm not sure that Buttigieg or anybody can force Southwest Airlines to pay for a cruise that somebody lost. Up till now, the cruise lines are not given future cruise credits to replace the cruises. If you didn't make it on the cruise, you lose. That's not right either. I can certainly see if you had your airfare booked with the airlines, how that might tie in and you might be able to get some compensation through that route. But if you did your airfare on your own, I don't know. You might be able to get your airfare, yes. But then to get compensation for the cruise, wow, that one looks doubtful to me. Now, the cruise lines could certainly offer more flexibility so that maybe guests can rebook these cruises. That might be a viable option for some. But then, that's just, man, what a mess. So, the recovery was going along pretty well. Yeah, there were a few hiccups, with the new variants coming out. There have been some outbreaks on some ships. Yeah, that's happened. That's going to continue to happen. But all in all, the rebound was coming along swimmingly. And now you got a lot of people that have waited for 3 years to cruise and got screwed out of getting to a ship by the airline and then by the cruise company by not making it good for them. And they're saying, I'll never go back to cruising again. And to a certain degree, I can't blame them. You can only get screwed so many times before you turn around and walk away, folks. So I think this is going to damage the cruise recovery considerably. We're going to lose passengers. We're going to lose guests. Will we ever get them back? Who knows? Not entirely sure you can hold Southwest totally accountable for any of that. That's just a bit of my thoughts on the whole situation with Southwest. Quite frankly, folks, it sucks. All right, Carnival. And by the way, back to the other thing, if you're not getting any good results from the cruise lines, then you're going to have to independently go with your travel insurance. And hopefully you have travel insurance that will cover it. If you don't, I feel really bad. All right, on to the next story. Chef Emeril Lagasse, a James Beard Award winner famous for his New Orleans-style Creole and Cajun cuisine, is the new chief culinary officer for the 24 ships in the Carnival Cruise Line fleet. The chef already had a Carnival partnership with his popular Emeril's Bistro 1396 menu on Mardi Gras and the Carnival celebration, and will be on the upcoming Jubilee. Carnival Cruise Line President Christine Duffy said, "Food is key to the fun of the Carnival cruise. Emeril's restaurants on our 2 new ships have been a great addition to our dining offerings, and guests rave about the food. It's also going to be on the Jubilee come next December. With Emeril's culinary expertise and broader profile on our ships, along with our wildly popular partnership with Food Network star Guy Fieri, Carnival will feature 2 iconic talents in the food and dining industry across its fleet." According to the cruise line, Lagasse will work with Carnival chefs, offering insights into food trends and techniques, and will be involved with future menu items and dining concepts. In the fleet's main dining room, certain entrees will be noted, as Emeril recommends. I haven't eaten it. I haven't been on the ships with the Emeril's restaurants yet. I will try one of those when I get on one of the 3 ships that have it. I have a feeling we might see it on some more ships, Emeril's restaurants. That could happen. All right, and the last story today, just ahead of its increase in daily gratuities for guests on January the 1st, Norwegian Cruise Line has revealed that it is reducing its cleaning service for most staterooms across the fleet in 2023. A letter was sent to crew members that detailed the changes. Norwegian will be adjusting the current daily turn-down service provided to all guests staying in categories that are below a suite level. Those in studio, interior, ocean view, balcony, and club balcony suites will receive stateroom service only once a day instead of twice. All other suite and haven categories will continue to receive turn-down service twice a day. The first vessel to implement the change will be the Norwegian Epic starting January the 8th. The policy will be rolled out across the fleet in the following 3-month period, with the final ship to apply the change being the Norwegian Pearl on March the 31st. In order to accommodate these changes, the onboard position titles Stateroom Steward and Junior Stateroom Steward will be eliminated, becoming a singular position Stateroom Attendant. Crew currently holding the junior role will see a slight increase in salary, but the salary will be significantly reduced for the current Stateroom Stewards. I'm not real wild about that one, folks. Less service, more money. That's not going to help the cruise industry. Nor is it going to help the crew. Well, if their tips are better, yeah, maybe so. But then they're cutting salaries for some of them. Come on. All right. Let's see who's over in the chat room fussing at me, probably. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. Hey, Evie. Mike's with us. Hot Air Tom is here. I've never flown on Southwest Air. Wonder how the folks saying it's the best airline are doing this week. Yeah, well, I like JetBlue. Southwest needs to show us some respect by completely revamping and updating their computer system. Well, they need to do something. That's for sure. Yeah, NCL cutting back, less interruptions when I want a nap. Yeah. That's one way of looking at it, Hot Air. Kenneth's with us. Hey, Kenneth. Robert's here. Eddie says good morning to everybody. Hey, Tom, have you ever tried Norwegian's buy one, get one free airfare? I was just wondering what airline they use and how are the times that they offer you. Thank you. Chillie's Cruises, I have a suggestion. Get Scoot Around to add segues to the items for rent. Then us non-accessible folks can support the company and have some cool wheels. I can tell you why that's not being done, Hot Air. It's an insurance issue. And one of the problems is negotiating a segue on a rocking cruise ship, because you've got the ups and downs and the backs and forths movement. And that can throw your balance on the segue off. And for somebody like me, I can't stand up long enough to ride a segue. So, but yeah, it could be an income stream for sure. But I think it's an insurance issue. Great idea, Tom. I'm glad I don't travel for work anymore. I did Southwest Airlines out of LaGuardia for years. Amy's with us. Hi, Amy. How you doing? I think the travel insurance companies are the poor losers here. They should start a class action suit against Southwest. All right, I think I'm back on the air. That was my the oxygen guys just rang the doorbell, so I hollered to make sure somebody let them in. Eddie says that's why I'm driving in January to New Orleans. It's only 6 hours from Atlanta. Yep, that's not a bad sign.
How many of these are empty?
6. 6 and 6.
You can come in here to get them?
Oh yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. Everybody knows he's coming in. Kenneth says I've used BOGO. Best advice is request free and post deviations 1 or 2 days and don't rush. I think that gives NCL flight folks more flexibility in scheduling flights. I've way back when I used the cruise lines air several times, and I always did very well with them. And then I got away from it. I really don't know why. Of course, you guys know this past year, I've avoided flying at all costs. But yeah, I mean, if you can get, that's one of the things that does do is it guarantees you if there's any problems, the cruise line's going to take care of getting it on the boat. So not a bad way to go. Hot Air says never fly same day, which is the default used by NCL. Yeah, that one of the problems is the airlines I have seen, and that might have been why I quit doing it. was that they would, if they could, they'd fly you the day of the cruise. I flew to LA once and got on a cruise same day. You're talking about cutting it close. But yeah, that needs to be an option for all of us that are traveling today. Check with your cruise line. And again, many of the agents, they don't like to mess with it, so they don't push it. But so you might have to do some requesting things on your own. I know one major company, I mean, it's like pulling teeth to get them to even get air quotes for you. So keep that in mind also. Hot Air says, I've been happy with NCL flights, but you need to be flexible and not have a lot of expectations. NCL normally uses United, American, and Delta and their partners. JetBlue is now an American partner, so some JetBlue flights have appeared. Oh, well, that's an improvement. I like JetBlue the times that I've flown JetBlue. I was fine with that. I'm looking forward to flying Breeze because I've not flown Breeze before. That's how I'm getting to New Orleans, is Breeze. Kenneth, I use NCL on cruises to Europe and Alaska. They've put us on American, British Air, and Iceland Air. We have had no problems. All right. Thank you, Amy. Kenneth says, thank you. If you fly, say, like Europe or Australia, do you fly back the same day you get off the ship? Good question. And there is some flexibility in scheduling, but sometimes not as much as if you book it on your own. We had American to London in September, United for October and November cruises. Layovers were about 1.5 hours, not bad at all. All right, Hot Air Tom says best advice is to do some research on flights, check with the search engine and flight costs and compare to what NCL wants to charge. I can be very flexible if the savings are good. Yeah. Yes, the savings counts. You can be flexible. Well, I've told you guys before that I'm, New Orleans, I'm going to be in New Orleans 3 days early. That's unusual for me. And quite frankly, that's the reason because of Hot Air Tom. He handled the arrangements. So I'm going to have some time in New Orleans, and I don't mind it at all, especially in New Orleans, which happens to be a city that I really like. I love several places to eat there. I love several of the bars there. I mean, I just like New Orleans. So I don't mind at all that I'm going to have a couple extra days. And who knows, since I'm flying, am I going to need it? Well, especially with Breeze, because they don't fly every day. So that's a possibility too. Eddie says we'll be there on Saturday. Okay. Yeah, that's probably what I would do if I was driving. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, we'll be back with the Cruise Amigos at 1 o'clock and see how that goes today. I have not heard from the other side of the pond yet, so we'll see on that. And then, of course, John, who knows with John and the dentist how that's going to work. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. This is the old fat travel guy. Have a fantastic day. See you at 1 o'clock my time for the Cruise Amigos.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.